What is going on, guys? Welcome back. This is our second video of our 4 drafts. We are going to be doing the B division. We do have the league owner in Rissoux, and we do have the B division mod Ultra Goomba.
Hey guys, this is Rissoux.
Hello, this is
Goomba is a little laggy, but that's cool.
Fine.
He's around. He's here.
As long as he's here, that's all that matters. All right.
I'll just be a second late. It's fine.
Oh, it's not that bad. You just like lose a word here or there.
Ah, okay.
All right. So, which one of you wants to give us the very first team?
All right, cool. So,
sorry, we are going to be going in ascending order. So we're going to go from the bottom to the top of the B division.
From the worst to the best. Right. We're going to start at the very bottom of the barrel. So first up, we've got Gustavo. Unfortunately, he's one of our A division rank downs. He did poorly in the last season, so now he's in B division. And judging by the power ranking that we chose to give him, he's not really setting himself up for success this season either, which is unfortunate. What do you think about his squad so far, Goomba?
I just don't like Tapu Fini and Conkeldurr because we all know Conkeldurr as the guts boosted monster it is. But with Misty Terrain, it can't get its Flame Orb, so it's like just sits there. I mean, Sheer Force and Iron Fist are good abilities, but still.
I mean, how often are you really going to be running Life Orb Sheer Force on Conkeldurr? Probably not that often, right?
Yeah, exactly. And half his team is Weather abusers with no Weather.
Right, yeah. You've got like Sand Rush, there's Swift Swim, Ice Rush even. You've got, I'm pretty sure Dugtrio gets like Sand Veil.
Yeah.
There's Solar Power Houndoom. There's all these weather components, but absolutely no way to set Heather out, or no way to set weather outside. I think Salamence gets like Rain Dance. I think that's about it.
And it doesn't really abuse it that well, other than like, does it even get Hurricane?
Salamence? I don't think so. It's Dragonite. I'm pretty positive.
Yeah, the Dragonite's the one. That's what I was thinking about.
He's got sticky webs, so like that's cool. But then his speed tiers are also kind of wacky too, where Salamence is off the ground anyway, so like it's not benefiting from the Misty Terrain. Everything else from Beartic, Sandslash, Delmise are too slow to really take advantage of the sticky webs that are actually being set by the pre-evolution of Slurpuff. So it's a middle tier.
He's forced to run rocks on either Sandslash or Dugtrio, and so it's very obvious if he only brings one, which one is having it.
Right.
That's not that great either.
That's a hell of an ice resist in that steel type, huh?
Oof.
So that's so that's the 16th seeded team in Miles Gustavo. So if we're going to transition to the next one, that would be a RosaRaid God's team. He is number 15 here, which by the way I love Shiny Victini. It's fantastic.
Oh, if you love shinies, every sprite has to be shiny. So.
Oh, that's fantastic.
They're
Yeah, we've got
shiny.
all the shiny sprites here. So what do you think about it, Doctor?
I didn't mind this team too much. But I don't like the Mega Bayonet. I never liked Mega Bayonet. He also doesn't have great rockers either, and so he's really forced to put rocks on Rhyperior when it could be like a solid setup sweeper or a really good assault vest user.
Definitely. Yeah, he's got all the hazard removal in the world, but really only one good way to set rocks. I'll tell you, as somebody who tried to get Mega Bayonet to work last season, I had it for all 8 weeks, tried to get it to do something, and could not get it to really do much. Even with a kooky set like Will-O-Wisp, Cotton Guard, Pain Split, like Phantom Force, couldn't get it to really do anything. It really sucks that is his Mega Pokemon, because even though it's 165 base attack, you still want some sort of way to boost that attack so that you can OHKO things as opposed to just dent them. And that's one of the things I found that was really bad about Mega Bayonet.
As like a low tier ghost, I would way rather have like Dusclops or Dusknoir, or even like Spiritomb over Mega Bayonet, to be honest.
Sure, right. Like if Mega Bayonet could have like a secondary item, like that would be really cool. Throw a Life Orb on there. Like Shadow Sneaks are going to hurt, but in its present form, it just doesn't really have that power output for something you would expect. Outside of that, he's got really good bulk. There's a couple of 4x weak mons that I feel kind of complement each other. So you've got like Ground Magneton with a floating Hydreigon. You've got Scizor that's weak to fire that Hydreigon again also kind of resists. It's a solid core that he's got there, but he's just lacking some of the speed control that I think is necessary in a team with something like Victini.
Also, I want to say that I really don't like Magneton on this team because, yeah, it traps steel types, but Victini just blows back every single steel type in the game with V-Create.
Whoa. I think you're forgetting about my boy Heatran right now, and you need to revise your
Okay.
statement.
That's one mon, one whole mon.
One whole mon. That's it.
And we also have that Venusaur with no Sunsetter either, so it's not the best grass type that he could have picked.
Z Sunny Day Victini coming at your face.
I've used that, but it doesn't really help your Venusaur out.
Right, yeah, for Victini it's cool, but not so much as the Venusaur.
I think on this team, Venusaur will play a more bulky role than Sunsweeper.
Well, you say bulky, but I mean, Grass Poison is a cool type when you look at something like a Mungus, but Venusaur isn't as bulky. It's got so many weaknesses that just don't play with each other at all. Like Psychic, Flying, Ice, Fire, all these different. It's hard for it to be bulky.
Yeah. Well, I also like the fact that Venusaur is a grounded poison to absorb the T-spikes.
Yeah, no, that's also true, for sure.
Since I think only 2 of his mons are off the ground.
Yep. I mean, he's got a Rapid Spinner. He's got 1, 2, 3. He's got 4 Defoggers. So, oops. So that was Roserade God's team. So I guess we can go ahead and go to the next one, which would be Risky Ricky's team. He's another one of those A Division D ranks from last season. So he's also kind of not setting himself up for success, even though he's got some really cool pieces.
I kind of liked this team, I guess, more than you guys did. I love Jirachi and pairing it with Mega Altaria as well. And I think he's like some decent Z users here as well.
Definitely. Yeah, it was like the team showed pretty good synergy, I thought, in its offense. My big issue that I took from it was that none of the mons on his team have a lot of like real like power output from the go. So like obviously he's got Setup Cloister, he's got like Banded Entei as a really common set. You could even throw like a Life Orb or Choice Spec Stickable, but when I'm taking into account he's also got Brizion, Jirachi, Gliscor, Altaria, Scolipede, all of those mons get access to setup, and I feel like he might not have the opportunities to go for the setup every single time, whereas he may need that direct power output that he just doesn't quite have.
What about you, Goomba? What do you think?
Yeah, I think his wall breaking potential is like turn 1. Wall breaking potential is very lacking with just Entei. Although I do like Vikavolt for like an anti-Trick Room option, or even like a Trick Room Jirachi into you turn into Vikavolt could be a fun 1 week gimmick.
Sableye gets Trick Room too, I think, doesn't it? It gets Prankster, would be Trick Room if it gets it.
So I figured with Jirachi you could just click Trick Room and then use the slow U-turn.
Sableye doesn't get Trick Room.
That's unfortunate.
I wanted that -5 priority Trick Room.
Yeah, right.
Outspeed all the other Trick Room setters.
Yeah, that's making my head hurt about the mechanics of a Prankster Trick Room setter. Good lord. But
Alright. Ready to move on to the worst logo in the whole entire league?
Let's do it. Throw it on up there.
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
Worst logo? You mean best logo?
No, because you didn't even see Casper's in A Division. It was just a screenshot of text. This one is at least got his nice shiny mug on it.
Oh yeah, there was a special there was a special draft slide for Casper's.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be great.
It was great.
Love Casper's.
So this is Jared's team. He's got a really interesting team name as well, B35T. I forget exactly what that means, but I guess it's a
Probably
inside
best.
joke with him and his friends.
It's probably elite speak for best.
Yeah, something like that. I'm not sure. But so one of the things that I didn't really like about this team was how weak to ground it was. So really the only thing on the team that doesn't really care about ground would be the bug type, but it's already flying. So he's got a grass type that is neutral, and then everything else just kind of either absorbs it or or dies to it. He's got 2 steel types, a really weak ice type. He's got a bulky ground type, I guess, but it's not a resist.
And you don't want to be bringing Vivillon every single week.
Yeah, you don't really see the Pavilion being used defensively a lot of the time. He could make it work. I don't know.
Klefki paired with Registeel wasn't the best idea as they share weaknesses. And so I feel like a different fairy to go along with that Registeel would help out a whole lot more.
Definitely.
Also, I find his removal to be very lacking with just Klefki and Vivillon for defog. I don't think he has a spinner.
No, he doesn't.
But he also has Pissimian there to punish defog. So,
Yeah,
like, why would I...
true.
Well, I mean, if you're setting spikes with Klefki, like, if we're talking about ground immunities, I have personally ran myself like a Magnet Rise spike set against like a Donphan just to just to dodge the ground attacks and then spike stack out. Yeah. But yeah, if you've got the 2 steel types, are you really going to be bringing both of them to every game? I'm not sure.
But I feel like with his team, he's kind of forced to bring Klefki every week, or else it's spike stack him, then win.
Right, no, exactly.
So I'm looking at his options. Really, his only option that he could get rid of Klefki for would be Slurpuff, which would actually not be too bad.
Defog Vivillon every week.
Well, yeah, he'd have to get a better defogger or spinner, but that's his best fairy option in tier 3.
Oh, good lord! There's really not many fairies in tier 3. Yeah. I'm thinking like Gardevoir and shit. That might be it.
Oh well, there's like nothing left. I just went through the whole tier. It was Slurpuff or Diancie, and that still just gives us the same weaknesses. So it's Slurpuff.
Yeah, he would even gain a ground weakness at that point, plus a 4 times weakness to steel, which I guess wouldn't be the worst thing, but
yeah,
still not something you really want to see.
All right, y'all ready?
I do like the power output though. Like if we can leave this slide on a good note, I do like how offensive like Weavile, Zeraora, like Typhlosion, like those are really good, powerful mons that I feel will serve him well.
And his overall bulk is fairly good with like Slowbro, Registeel, Mega Venu.
Oh yeah. Bulky boy. Like a Venomoth kind of destroys those 3, but you know, it's just one mon. So we'll move on from there. Into Majora's Mask. Now that's the sort of sprite that I'm looking for that I absolutely love.
Oh yeah.
I know Goomba does too.
It looks glorious.
Mega Cam is close to my heart after last season.
The man brought to you round 1 Mega Camerupt and just forever a legend in the server. We love it. Oh man. So I look at this team and I automatically think like weak to flying, weak to ground. He's got a lot of guys that are weak to the combination of those 2. Cocalucha is cool, but what do you think, Doctor?
Usually when you get Mega Camerupt, you really want to pair it with Trick Room, as like the webs that he's got on this team won't help him too much with the Mega Camerupt. As like an HP water is just going to kill his Camerupt from almost any Pokemon, in my opinion.
Right.
But water absorb Araquanid.
Which you don't want to bring that either.
Well, you say that.
You got to hit them with the surprise.
Oh man, that water bubble is really gonna wreck me. Oh, it's water absorb. Okay, that is a lot more manageable.
Yeah, if you want to run like the Whirlpool Toxic, water absorb is fine, but it's just not the best option.
Did he make? Who is this Majora's Mask? Did he make his Araquanid a Z user? I don't think so.
No, his Z users are Tapu Koko and Latias.
That's unfortunate because I've ran a Z stockpile Araquanid before that gives you the +1 in both your defenses and also refills your HP. So it's been like a really fun set that I've ran before. It's like a Z stockpile, rest, toxic, liquid, and liquidation is so strong in and of itself. If there's not a water absorb Pokemon on the other team, that you just blow things back.
Oh yeah, especially if you like Bandit or was it Splash Plate or
Hmm.
any boosting item, if they don't have a water resist or not a very good water resist, they're going to be taking huge dents from that Araquanid.
Huge dent. But yeah, so he doesn't have an ice or a flying type, so that kind of magnifies his weaknesses. He's got really good hazard removal. He's got kind of a speed gap issue where he doesn't have anything from 85 all the way up to 110. So the stuff, like all of the things that are sitting in that 100 to like 105 bracket, will be able to run modest adamant on you a lot of the time, and that's going to put a lot of pressure on your defensive mon.
I'm more a fan of the Licky Licky to pass around wishes if it needs to, but not so much a fan of the Ampabomb.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't think it was that necessary on this team to double up on the same type.
Well, in my mind, like they're extremely different normal types. So Ambipom is one of the few ways that he gets priority.
Yeah.
So he gets like fake out, sucker punch, stuff like that. I think that and then like sucker punch from Decidueye is about it. Oh, and sucker punch on Bisharp. Yeah.
But he has Unburdened Hawlucha, so who needs priority anyway when you outspeed every mon in the game?
Don't forget, Nidoking gets Sucker Punch.
Oh, does it? Yeah, nobody really thinks about Physical King, do they?
I've lost to it before. It's terrible.
Maybe he could bring it back. We'll see.
Hey, there you go.
Although I will say I do like the combination of Coco Lucha and Mega Camel, because when you see Coco Lucha, you're like, oh, I'll just bring Trick Room and I'll outspeed it. But if you set up Trick Room, he'll just go hard and claim like 2 or 3 mons.
That's true, yeah. I mean, it's got to be done tastefully, so I can see that working both ways.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next team. The Memphis Breakers.
Good buddy Jane. So I really liked his team. I felt like it's a little bit more ground weak. Like if your only real ground resist is Superior, maybe it's not as bulky as you would like it. But
so I'm pulling up the thing because I forgot to bring it up. So give me a minute.
What are you pulling up? Sorry.
Like the analysis.
Oh yeah, because that's what I'm looking at right now. Is my little cliff notes as we're recycling through this.
There we go. I'm good.
I really liked his team. I just felt like the ones in front of it did a better job of doing what they kind of were meant to do than his squad itself. So like Audino wish passing into stuff like Metagross and Blastoise is great. Aromatisse could be like a Trick Room setter if he wants to run something crazy like Min Speed, Mega Blastoise, or Metagross. That's a thing, I guess.
I love the Firewater Grass Core too, of the 3 starters there.
Definitely.
He's got pretty good hazard removal as well. Tentacruel I don't like as much paired with Mega Blastoise, as it's somewhat of the same. Minus that it gets Toxic Spikes. Like if he could have got a different Pokemon to fill that role rather than double up on a water type.
I think both Tentacruel and Mandibuzz get Haze, right? So it's kind of filling a more supportive water type role.
Does Mandibuzz get Haze?
I believe so, yeah. Let's see.
That boy gets all the support moves. I'm sure it does.
You mean Girl?
It does not get Haze, no.
Proved wrong. All right.
We're just terrible at guessing so far.
Or I'm just not that smart. That's also it.
He's got decent rocks setters as well, but he'd be forced, like let's say he doesn't bring Metagross, well he's forced to run him on his Infernape or Mamoswine, and that's not the best, as you want to use those more offensively most of the time.
Yep.
That's something I don't quite like. And then kind of a budget electric type isn't the best either, but
you know what? No, don't hate on my Kanto Raichu right now, because he was on my squad last season for B Division playoffs, and Raichu did me well the entire season. If you run like a static Nuzzle set on Raichu and don't get OHKO'd by any of the 1,000 things that can OHKO Raichu, you pass around paralysis like a freak.
So you mean like he could just get a Togedemaru, right?
He could, but then he would also be acquiring a 4x ground weakness, which I wouldn't really suggest for this team. Again, going back to the whole Superior being a ground resist thing, so.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You got me on that one.
Isn't Raichu his fastest mon at base 115 compared to Superior at like 113?
So Raichu is base 110 actually, so Superior is his
Yeah, because Superior is 113.
which is kind of a low ceiling as far as speed tiers
Yeah.
go, but it breaks the 110 barrier, so it's good
Yeah.
good enough, I guess.
Good enough.
Now this next team we got here, Kindog's team. I don't know if he was memeing with the Shelmet or not. I'll be really curious to see what he does with it this season.
Are we allowed to have him at level 1?
No.
Oh, then he's memeing. Level 1 Shelmet is a strategy, but when you're forced to have it at not level 1, then no, it's terrible.
Yeah, no, I'm not quite sure what that would be.
What do you mean? You don't believe in the base 85 defense Shelmet?
Hey,
Yeah,
Eevee Light
no.
though.
Flare Blitz Arcanine. Really anything. Growlithe even. God.
I forget.
Although
Go ahead.
with Shelmet and Skarmory, it provides him with nearly every hazard in the game. With Shelmet, Skarmory, and Masquerain, it provides him every hazard in the game.
Oh, does Shelmet get Toxic Spikes? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever looked at them on more than I am right now, which is just the sprite. So
I mean, Shelmet is essentially Baby Aselgor, just really slow.
Just terrible.
that whole evolution mechanic makes no freaking sense. Whatever. We'll just rock with it.
They evolve and just swap clothes, and they're like, I guess this is how it works.
Yeah, oh man, it's ridiculous. Escavalier is such a funny one. I will say too, though, like one of the super positive things I can say about this team is the Dragon Fairy Steel Core is phenomenal. I don't know if it can get much better than Mega Charizard, Clefable.
Yeah, defensively, that's going to be something really hard to break between, especially Clefable, Skarmory.
I do also really like Espeon's abilities to set up screens. Like that's not normally something you want to run on Clefable. I think it's one of those weird ones where it either gets reflect, not light screen, or the other way around. But Espeon is a fantastic screen setter at 110 base speed.
It gets both.
Oh, does it? So there you go. Even more ammo to set up.
Yeah,
And I also really
Go ahead.
I also like Espeon for Magic Bounce since overall his removal is fairly lacking.
Yeah, that's true.
I like Sceptile as like a interesting tech Pokemon. If he grabbed it for like an unburdened sweeper to like sweep back teams that bring Coco or Finny or Bulu, as people might not prep for that too much.
Unburden is one of those abilities that, depending on how well you're able to utilize it, like it really makes or breaks them on for you. So like Nathan, so one of the A division moderators, he's ran in the past like a Curse, White Herb, Unburdened Hitmonlee, and has worked really well. So that you don't have to just have like a terrain seed. Like that's a really easy one to use for Unburden, but it doesn't have to be something like that. You can get the boost another way. So if you wanted to do something like that, like I could see Leaf Blades being a huge thing there.
Although I will say Tapu Bulu is available.
Fairly equitable, sure. Maybe he can trade the Shelmet for it.
Yes.
Oh God.
And then the last little note I'll say on this team too is that I didn't like how weak to ice it was. Like he's got 2 steel types. How often are you really going to be bringing Shelmet? But the steel type and then the fire type are like fairly common ice resist, right?
Mm-hmm.
His fire type is a dragon and his steel type is flying. So they're now neutral resist. And ice being a very common special attacking move, like Skarmory's base Spadef, I think is like 50 or 60. So taking neutral ice beams is not going to want to be what Skarmory does for a living. So it really just boils down to Milotic being an ice resist.
And Bolt Beam is very common, so it can just tear through this team as well.
Right, exactly.
But that Shelmet though.
But that Shelmet, that's it.
God.
We don't know the power of it yet. We'll have to see.
Of level 100 Shelmet.
That's it, man. Cool. So that was rank 10. So if we can move on now to rank 9. This is Mega Parasect. I really, again, this is another one of those teams that I really like. He's got such good Volt Turn. I think that will really help him utilize stuff like Mega Alakazam, just getting that in as much as possible and just decimating.
Yeah, I think the problem is is the budget fairy here. I think that's where he might have fallen down the ranks a little bit.
I actually looked up Carbank because this is another one of those mons that I really had no experience with going into these power rankings. I looked up Carbank and was very confused because it got the exact same HP, defense, and special defense as Deontay with the same typing, but it just gets shittier attack stat. Like, it's fun, but it's just a worse clone of it, I suppose.
It's budget Diancie, essentially.
Yeah, it's budget Diancie with no offensive capabilities. Like, even you slap Explosion on there and it still doesn't really do that much to anything.
Speaking of Explosion, I will mention Ferrothorn has the ability to run like Swords Dance Explosion with like normal gym, and that is very powerful. I know, or I would know, because I almost beat Zooch with it in C Division this past season. He kind of killed it a little sooner than I would have thought.
Yeah, slap a choice band on Ferrothorn too, and it's scary because people prep so much for just like spikes, leech seed, protect, and they forget that it can be run offensive.
It's a 20 base speed mon with gyro ball. Like, it hurts.
Although I will
go ahead.
I will say I like Carbing for providing screens and clicking the boom button and then going up into like Double Dance Lando T or like Calm Mind Mega Zam or Dragon Dance Komo.
Yep. Or if you've got V Create Smeargle, you just get that in and then you just wreck shop with it.
Yes, V Create Smeargle with its base 20 attack.
Yeah, but we don't talk about
it. Yeah, the hazard removal options aren't the best either between just Lando T and Cryogonal.
Yeah, it's kind of misleading on paper, right? Because you think, oh, he's got like he's got a defogger, or no, he's got 2 defoggers, 2 rapid spinner. But then what that doesn't really tell you is that 2 mons have access to both of those moves, so it doesn't quite even out like it's supposed to.
Yeah, running Smeargle as a hazard removal isn't going to be too useful each week, as it dies to a slight breeze.
That's it.
So
definitely.
No sash once you come in on those rocks or spikes, and there's not much you can do.
Yeah. So the other thing too that I like about the team is Toxapex here. So as much as we're talking about like Volt turning out, so like Volt Switch on Jolteon and the U-turning on what is almost always a Choice Scarf Darmanitan and Landorus Therian, if you can Volt turn into something that can just take a hit and then bounce back out, Toxapex is definitely one of those mons that I would see doing.
Oh yeah, Toxapex Ferrothorn gives him 2 very solid defensive switch-ins, whether physical or special.
That's it. Yeah. So not so bad. Getting progressively better here.
Moving on to default Dragondance.
The default Dragon. Daniel, my boy Daniel.
The best logo.
You'll be hearing from Daniel here relatively soon. He is one of our C Division mods, so he'll be showing up in the next video. But he's got a really good team. I liked it.
Thankfully, he grabbed a dragon that gets Dragon Dance.
I think that's my biggest beef with Garchomp. I love the hell out of it, but it doesn't get Dragon Dance.
Swords Dance is all it needs.
I guess so. I don't know. Fun little fact about his team. He's actually got all 18 types represented in his team here. He's got 18 out of 18.
That's crazy. I didn't even realize that.
Yep.
I'm double checking.
Yeah.
I mean, feel free. I'm telling you as a fact that you can always rely on what I have to say.
Okay, got it. Never rely on what you have to say.
Rude.
Starting off, he's got like really good hazard setters, in my opinion. Like between Necrozma, Aerodactyl, Blissey, and Heatran for the rocks.
But that's it though.
Kind of sucks he doesn't have like spike support or his T spikes is Beedrill, but
Beedrill, yeah,
that's not going to be that often.
Right, that's along the same sort of lines as saying like how often are you going to run offensive Shellman? Like you can maybe put T spikes on Beedrill in the same way that you put Defog on there. Like I'm a real fan of running Defog on Beedrill because it's so fast it almost acts like Prankster. Like it comes in and it defogs before it dies, providing you can switch in on a 25% stealth rock.
Oh, and it really needs Mega Beedrill really needs rocks to be gone at all times.
All time. What do you think about it, Goomba? What's your favorite mon on Daniels?
I just really like the Mega Beedrill. Because most of the time when you see a Mega Beedrill, you'll go into a Steel type, but he'll just U-turn on that and go Zygarde.
Yep. And you just 1,000 arrows something until it dies.
Yeah.
Or even Heatran or Pangoro or, you know.
I really like his setup threats here. I also like the priority that he gets in Comfey. I think that's really going to help out his other setup threats with that triage getting ridiculous priority boost. But like Dragondance, Zygarde, Weakness Ball, Steve, like Rock Polish set on Necrozma, like Swords Dance Pangoro.
Como gets dropped.
Say Como O gets dropped?
Oh, I thought we were talking about stuff that Comfey could beat. My bad.
No. Sorry, I was talking about the setup mons that he's got.
I kind of blanked out for a second. It's cool.
you were thinking like 3 slides ago. You were just stuck on that Como O still.
I just heard Comfey killing stuff, and I was like, oh, just Como.
Everything. Yep. There you go.
Although I will say something I don't like about his team is his fast speed tiers. Because you have Beedrill at base 145, Aerodactyl at like 130. And then his third fastest mon is Comfey at base 100.
It's a pretty wide margin, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like some of those mons won't be running max speed all the time, like Blissey, Jellicent, Glaceon at times.
I don't think I've ever ran into Glaceon ever, like in a battle. Because people just don't draft it, let alone bring it, because it's so slow. Like
they just use it as like a nice cleric, but I mean he already has Blissey for that exact role.
Right.
So Glaceon doesn't really get any. Like I don't even know what ability it gets. Hold up. Is it Snowcloak?
Snowcloak and Ice Body. Yeah.
So it doesn't even give him like a valuable ability either. I don't know.
Like you have to run another Ice type for the abilities to be really something. But then it's also it's one of the worst defensive types in the game, and it spends 110 of its base stat on defense and 95 on special defense. Something that's going to be dying anyway really doesn't need that much bulk.
So I think that'd be first mon to go if he wants to swap it out for maybe like, let's see.
Vanilla.
No, not Vanillix. God.
What, you don't like accurate blizzards?
If he wants webs, Ariados is right there to help with his speed tiers. He has plenty of rockers. Maybe a spiker would be good.
That would definitely help out Zygarde with KOs.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's one down there. I'm not going to go through all of tier 5.
Yeah, please don't. We'll be here for a half hour.
All right. I think it's time to move on to was it Dynomax Eggies?
Dynomax Eggies. One of the first emblem or the logos that I've seen from Gen 8 that I really enjoy. Or at least mention Gen 8.
Yeah.
What you think, Goomba?
I really like this team with like the offensive synergy of like Make the Loper Bombi, Nihilego Sneasel, and then like his bulk being Tangrowth Vaporeon, which really just complement each other to a T. Because like Tangrowth has really good physical defense, but essentially negative Spadef. Vaporeon. I mean, Vaporeon only has 95 Spadef, but that's still better than base 50 of Tangrowth.
Yeah, they do really work well together. Something that I noticed just when I looked at the team initially is he's got 4 mons. Yeah, 4 of his 11 guys have a quad weakness, and they kind of cover each other a little bit. So like the fighting, like he's got Dusknoir to kind of absorb fighting attacks aimed at Sneasel. He's got one of the best EQ resists in the game in Tangrowth to help out Nihilego. What am I looking at here? Lopunny can kind of absorb ice attacks aimed at Gligar, and then like fire attacks. Like Vaporeon gives no shits with fire.
Let's see. What about his hazards? He's only really got Mew and Nihilego stuck into that slot. You don't really want.
He's got Gligar.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Gligar. I forgot about Gligar.
Yeah, Gligar has enough. Unless you're running like a crazy double dance version of Gligar, like you've got room for Stealth Rocks almost every game.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So it's not bad.
He's got T-Spikes with Nihilego too, so that helps out.
He's got options.
Web
I really want Ampharos is a cool pick too. I'm really curious to see if that does anything.
can provide screens and just full straight switch out into like a Quiver Dance for Bombi or something.
Yeah, that's true. It's just really slow.
Mm-hmm.
Like 115 special attack is great, but it's pretty slow.
It's always hard to find a really good electric. You're either forced to use the same one over and over in every draft, or spend a whole lot, or go for a real budget one like Ampharos. So it's electric type's always a hard one to get right.
Yeah.
And Raichu was already taken, like we talked about earlier, so we had to look at other places.
That's true.
He can get my boy Manectric.
No, okay.
Manectric's the boy.
Look, Manectric
Lightning Rod.
is a meme.
Manectric's the boy.
A good doggo.
Exactly.
Mega Manectric, great boy. Manectric, bad boy.
What do you mean? He could come in on those electric attacks.
And that's about it.
That's about it, yeah. Offensive pressure, non-existent. Defensive pressure, non-existent.
Good.
All
right. We'll transition over to 7 here. So I never quite know how to say his name. So it's 7 Evan or even something like that.
I think you're supposed to call it 7.
Yeah, no, it's funny. All right, leave me alone.
Or it's season 7 Evan. He's predicting that he's gonna make it all the way to season 7.
Oh shit! I don't even know if I'm gonna make it to season 7. That's like 2 years away. So this man went all out on his speed tiers for sure. He went way over the top. So 143 from a Selgor down to 125. Swellow, he hits 115 Alolan Persian, 110 Megaladios, 109, 108. I think Blacephalon is like 104. And then Roserade is like 95 on down. He is on point with his speed tier.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, whenever this mega is allowed and other busted megas aren't, you have to nab it, and he did. Megaladios to me is one of the most busted megas when others aren't allowed, like your Mega Mawwiles,
Latios.
Megaladios, yeah, stuff
Fuck
like
a
that.
lot. Hate those. So we have a really democratic system in the WPF where we vote on tiers pretty much every season. And there was so much outcry over people being fed up and annoyed and not wanting to play Megaladios and Mega Mawile that we banned them. But Latios was voted to stay in. So it's essentially the top tier of megas this season. So I'm really expecting big things from this team this season.
He also has Alolan Ninetales to provide bail for Megaladios, so he can like go bail and then set up either Calm Minds or Dragon Dances.
Yep. Because that's a big guessing game right there. So he's actually that's another point too, is that he's got a couple of mixed attackers.
Yeah.
So like Cobalion and Latios, you never know if they're going to be like a Calm Mind or a Swords Dance. And you really kind of have to prep for them differently. So it's a big guessing game.
And he also has Alolan Persian, so he can just keep pivoting out to and from, like Megaladios, Cobalion.
Yep.
It's gonna be very hard to switch in on some of his Pokemon, like
Yeah.
Swellow, Blacephalon, just right off the bat. It's gonna be extremely hard to switch into either one of them, and they're extremely fast.
Yep.
Let alone breaking the Megaladios and Rotom Wash, things like that.
Yep. Everything that Latios doesn't like get eaten by Cobalion and Roserade.
Yep.
Minus like Mamoswine, I guess. But even then.
Well, Cobalion gets Magnet Rise, so.
That's true. Yep.
Unless he choice scarfs himself into Earthquake on the switch in, then Cobalion deals with the Mamoswine pretty well.
That's a hell of a guessing game. And then he's got Levitate Claydol sitting there, along with Swellow being naturally above the. Yeah, it's quite the team he's got here. I'm kind of glad I'm not in B Division for this one.
Wow.
Oh yeah, that was another point. So we'll be getting the Goomba's team here in a moment. He is a B Division mod who is in B Division. So we'll be ripping his team apart here in just a moment. But for now, on to the 5th.
Rigged.
So this is Gentleman Thomas's team. He's another one of those that have been in the league, I think, since season 1. Right, Goomba? Do you remember him in season 1?
Yeah, I think I remember him being in season 1.
So he's one of those OGs who's got a very scary Mega Glade team.
Yeah, Mega Glade being so fast and so strong after a SD or a bulk up. which also he paired very well with like Alolan Muck to deal with those extremely bulky fairies that Gallade might have trouble getting through. I really like that pairing.
I will say too, though, as somebody who has used Kanto Muck in the past, there are situations that I like Kanto Muck more than Alolan. And it's for that reason, is being like a solid fairy resist. Because Alolan Muck, when it's dark and poison, is neutral to fairy, which it's got good bulk to handle, but then it may not be able to take repeated hits from something like a Mega Deontay or a Clefable. So I guess that's why he paired it with Empoleon as well, because it's also another one of those great fairy resists.
Let's see. Assault Vest, Muck Alola with 252 special defense takes 27% from a Mega Deontay.
Yeah, so he can't take too many of those.
That's 4.
No, I know. I'm sure. Yeah, Gunk Shot and Poison Jab does a lot of work.
Oh yeah, Gunk Shot does 80 to 90.
Something else about this team that I really do like as well is he's really found ways to make his wall breakers shine in that, like, he's not fearing status on this team at all. Like, he's got aromatherapy on Celebi. I think it gets access to it. And then 2 Heal Bell users in Miltank and Togekiss. So even if Muck gets burned or Mega Gallade gets paralyzed, it's not the end of the world. He can switch out and fix it.
I could be wrong, but I think Mega Gallade also gets like Heal Bell.
Okay, you run Heal Bell on Mega Gallade, and we'll see how that works out for you.
Just you wait.
No, it gets
Yeah.
Heal
No.
Pulse.
Roughly the same thing, right?
If you just
This is
want
a
to
doubles league,
cheeky,
isn't it?
Let me heal your counter.
I mean,
Yeah.
Mega Glade does get Trick Room. I mean, he
Mega
can't.
Glade also doesn't have that many counters. Like, that's a fairly good way of trying to deal with Mega Glade, is to essentially, like, if in the past I've used like a Choppleberry on like a Miltank to take a Drain Punch and then Thunder Wave it back. But if you've got a way to then switch it out, like if I've effectively thrown away my Miltank for really no reason, because he's just got Togekiss that's going to Heal Bell off that burn, and then you have one less check. So it's a monster.
You have to run something absolutely max HP, max defense, Rocky Helmet, or you're not going to really stop Mega Gallade that well.
No.
Like
I do like Marowak. It's kind of a funny pick, but I like it. It's like Sandslash, but it's not.
It's like Sandslash, but more offensive, I think.
A lot
think
sadder, too.
I think Marowak's just there to be like, oh, you want to try and Trick Room on my Mega Gallade? Here, catch this thick club Earthquake.
Yep.
He has the thickest of clubs.
Exactly.
It's marginally thick. I mean, look at, well, you guys can't see the sprite. I'm looking at it now. It's like maybe a femur, which actually is, never mind, that's kind of big. Don't worry about that.
Dude's got a whole arm or leg, and you're like, it's not that bad. It's not that
Well, it
bad.
depends on what kind of leg and arm we're talking about. Like, is it from a Kieran Black or like a Wurmple? Like, what are we really talking about here?
Purple doesn't have arms. It has like a little, what do you call those?
No, it
Like-
does.
Tits?
You've never seen it in real life. It absolutely has arms and legs.
Ugh.
Spikes.
And then on to the final 4. Number 4, Chris, my boy, Chris Wygo Pro has drafted, I think, such a great team. Something that I really tried to capitalize on in Season 2 and failed. I have no doubt that he's going to be able to really take hold of and go forward in the season. So I ran Zygarde 50% and Mega Scizor. They really work together very well defensively, kind of absorbing each other's quad resistances, and then being able to set up in their own rights. He's kind of done a twist on that with Garchomp, Mega Scizor, and then Salazzle too, throwing in that in the mix. What do you guys think? Do you like it as much as I do, or what?
Oh yeah, I tried to pair Zygarde 50 with Mega Scizor in Evolution and got sniped from Mega Scizor so early.
Yeah.
But oh yeah, like an Mega Scizor can either be a very offensive Pokemon or like a very like a just amazing defog U-turn pivot Pokemon. Kind of like the same idea with Crobat here, but they have different defensive capabilities, and I really like that. And he has a
What
lot
about
of.
you?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Goomba.
I honestly think this is one of the best Dragon Fairy Steel cores in all of VDiv. I think only rival to another team we'll talk about later. And his Fire Water Grass core is still fairly good with being Shaman, Blastoise, Salazzle.
Kind of weak to U-turn though, right? Like his team itself, like Volt turning. Well, no, because he's got
Garchomp's sitting right
Garchomp.
there.
well, yeah. So Garchomp is there, and then he's also got Motor Drive on Electivire. But I was just thinking about something really fast U-turning. Like Shaman doesn't want to take it, and then like a Bug Resist and Salazzle, like it's pretty paper thin, so he doesn't really want to take it. But even then, he's got Crobat sitting there. It's also just waiting to eat the bug hit and then roost it off. So yeah, he's got a fantastic squad here.
And I like how a lot of the Pokemon have options. Like, for instance, Sylveon can be run multiple different ways here. Salazzle can be run like as a subtoxic or a nasty plot sweeper.
Nasty Bat, yep.
Nasty Bat, or just straight up Brave Birds if they don't really have a flying switch in. Scissor, like I said earlier, super offensive or super what's the word I'm looking for?
Utility, defensive.
Utility, yeah. Super utility. Right. Umbreon can go either way as well. Just start setting up curses. And if they don't have toxic, well, sucks to be them.
Just dumb bulky. I love Umbreon so much.
All right, I think it's time to move on to the, what is it, Seattle Seals?
The Seattle Seals in the house. Go ahead and tell us what you think about this team, Goomba. Let's hear an unbiased representation of this team.
Of course. Okay, we got Mega Medi Zygarde. Mega Medi just breaks literally everything. Zygarde there to clean up on the physical side. Then we have Gengar Primarina, which does the same thing roughly on the special side. Then we have Tornti and Zapdos providing bulky full turn. And then Ditto there to stop all the setup. Go-Go's there to be a bulky grass type. Bronzong's there to be like bulky steel type, provides Stealth Rock for the team, and Armaldo's there mainly for rocks and spin. And Houndoom was like, I need a fire type and a dark type.
You know what I don't like about your team? To take some of the wind out of your sails here, I don't like that everything on your team having to do with hazards is either neutral or weak to hazards. So like you've got two great defoggers that are both flying type. Like your Rapid Spinner is a bug and rock, so he takes neutral damage from rock. And then Houndoom doesn't want to take hits from anything, let alone after Stealth Rock.
I don't know about you, but I watched the WBE and Houndoom put in some work this week, so I wouldn't talk too much
No, I'm not
about
saying
him.
it's not a good mon. It doesn't really want to come in on Stealth Rocks that frequently.
Oh, well, that's true.
Plus, look at my team. You think you'll have time to set up Stealth Rocks? Nah, you'll be dead.
Maybe, man. I don't know. I've used Go-Go in the past too. I wish that you had a way. Oh no, I'm sorry. Never mind. Go-Go getting Grassy Pelt is such a cool ability for something that is more especially bulky than physically bulky. So as that grass type coming in and setting grassy terrain for itself, it's making its defense doubled, and it's also getting that extra recovery back. So you're like an extra good ground type switch in and Go-Go, especially with Milk Drink.
Really good bulk up sweeper too.
Yeah.
And Grassy Train is slept on because people don't prep for it unless you have a Bulu. And it's just not
I
something
did have a
people think
Bulu.
about.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I dropped it for Tornti.
What a mistake.
Nah.
I think Tornti is
You
way
don't
better.
need you don't need a taboo.
I have Bulu on my team, and I still think Tornti is better.
I'm still mad that Tapu Bulu doesn't get play rough. I'll petition that until I die.
One day.
I think it'll be just too busted with Playra. I mean, that would put it up in the upper tier ones, I think.
Nah. It's the only Tapu with a 4x weakness. The only one. It's the slowest. It's the only one with a quad weakness, and it doesn't get physical stab. I'm angry about it.
But it's not as common of a weakness, though, like an ice weakness or like maybe a water.
Yep.
Still.
Who's going to bring HP poison? I mean, come on.
Hey, man, you never know.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Anything gets hidden power. So, in theory, anybody could bring hidden power poison on something. And it's not that fast. So, again, you know.
Choice Scarf. Wood hammers are hard to switch into.
That's true, unless you're a Crobat. Chris knows all about that.
Mm-hmm.
And now, on to rank number 2. I think this is the team that you were talking about, Goomba, with the best Fairy Dragon Steel Core. Absolutely bananas. This man grabbed Kieran Black, Celesteela, Whimsicott, and Greninja. Oh my lord.
Yeah.
I am not a huge Whimsicott fan. The rest of the team, aside from Chimecho, looks great.
Oh, well, Torracat's sitting right there, buddy.
No, Torracat's the GOAT. Actually, no, sorry, that's Go-Go. We just talked about him. Torracat is great.
What I want to know is, okay, Goomba, how did y'all allow him to get KB and Celesteela? Like, who didn't pick one of those two Mons through the first round?
I honestly, well, I mean, we did get Tapu Fini first overall, so you know, already from the draft's going to be whack.
Throwing shade back to Miles, number 16. Sorry, buddy. So Frost was actually the 6th seed. I just went back and looked at the draft order. He was the 6th person. So there were 34 picks, assuming he grabbed Celesteela round 1 and then like Kieran Black on round 2 coming back. There were 24 people who saw Kieran Black on the board and was like, whatever.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's wild. That made it all the way back to him.
Who needs a Kieran Black when you got a Mega Medi, honestly?
Well, Steela
I'll
can
take
get some
it.
Mega Medi hits. Whimsicott.
Well, maybe one Thunder Punch.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
A singular one.
I think in C Division there was a Celesteela versus Mega Medi. Oh god, I pulled wrong screen.
Oh,
Wrong screen. Oh god.
that one professional. Good lord.
Well, my freaking monitor took a big crap while y'all were talking for a second and turned itself off, and so everything pushed over to the right side.
Oh, that's what that was. I thought I heard somebody farting into the mic.
Oh yeah, it's definitely my monitor.
It was the monitor.
So like, let's see. Let's put a Celesteela versus Mega Medi, because like
outside of having just no points left in your draft, I don't know why you get Chimecho over like Xatu, unless Xatu was already picked.
Doctor, don't do the couch. I battle him week 2.
Can't be giving away the strats, man.
Exactly.
Oof. So like, yeah, it's even a roll to 2-hit KO and max defense, max HP Steela, and Heavy Slam is a 2-hit KO.
And he looked it up anyway. What a dirtbag.
Wow.
Ooh, an Air Slash with 0 special attack is like 80%, bro.
All right, something else that I kind of like about Frost's team is so I've used Serena in the past with like really good results. So Quinley Majesty is one of those really cool abilities that you just don't really find anywhere else in the Pokedex for stuff like Greninja and like a Scarf Kieran Black that really fears things like Mach Punches and Bullet Punches. Having something as bulky and immune, not even resisted, but it's immune to priority moves like Serena, it really means that somebody has to think that turn through. Do I go for the priority move and guarantee this damage or this kill on this super high offensive mon, or do I go for something predicting the Serena to come in? You know, like those mind games are amplified a little bit.
And I really like that Alomomola is there, as it just wish support helps out almost his whole entire team.
That thing.
Like Steela would love wishes. Kieran Black, if you're gonna run it very offensive and can't fit Roost on there, would love the wishes. Mega Manectric that has no recovery loves the wishes. Same
Also
thing
the
for, like,
Torracat.
True.
You were talking mess on the Torracat a second ago, but that boy with Eviolite is actually really bulky.
I mean,
Let's see.
I don't guess
go into Torque. You can go into Torque, Cat pretty Intimidate, then you turn out into an autonomized Celesteela.
Yeah.
I mean,
Also Sock.
You're giving him strats, bro.
Yeah, we should probably stop talking about
We
this
just
guy.
talked about not giving him strats, and then you gave him one.
Like, oh man, you know what's great is especially offensive, inner focus, choice specs, Sock. Okay, cool. So on to the next one.
No,
The
you
first
gotta give a drum
overall.
roll. You gotta give a drum roll.
Oh,
Like
okay,
they haven't done like the they haven't cut everybody else out and like known who it is, but it's the Temple Noctowls.
The jersey fits. So this guy is a C Division promotee, so he actually moved up to B Division from C Division last season because of his outstanding performance. I love everything about this guy's team.
Oh, yeah, I love sand teams. Like, as someone who drafted their first sand team about 2 weeks ago, why is it you get Mega T-Tar so cheap when it's so busted paired with Excadrill?
It's incredibly bulky. I think the only thing that I could say negatively about this team that I just don't really care for. So I'm a weather kind of aficionado myself. I've used quad weather in the past multiple times. I love all the aspects of the different weathers on the same team. I did not enjoy using Mega Tyranitar because you lose the smooth rock option. If that's the only piece of advice I could give Jersey Fits, is switch Tyranitar out for base Tyranitar, or even Hippowdon, Hippopotas, or something like Excadrill and Stoutland on your team. Need those extra turns to get just that one little bit of breaking, that little bit extra. Because when you're capped at what is essentially 4 turns once you switch out the Tyranitar into one of your Sandrush sweepers, and then you lose another turn to set up, you really only have 2 or 3 turns to do your damage.
And you got to be able to eat enough hits because you're taking that initial hit switching in because you don't have U-turn or Volt Switch to get you there. Or you have to be able to have a sack so that you get the free switch in.
Definitely.
I think he's got solid like hazards as well between like Mesprit, Excadrill, Chestnut, things like that. Oh, and T-Tar.
He's also got a couple of rapid spinners. Like Excadrill and Starmie are both fantastic rapid spinners that really benefit the Volcarona being a special setup sweeper. So you gotta really juggle your threats here because he's got like Dragondance, Mega Tyranitar. It's got a ridiculous attack stat. It's like 150 or something. So if a Dragon dances, that's a problem. You think you prepped for the Excadrill, the Thundurus, and the Volcarona, and then Mega Tyranitar sets up in your face. Like that's an issue.
Oh yeah, having Volcarona there too is extremely scary because now Drill just with Sand alone gets it into a position by itself, but Volcarona, if you're not careful, one Quiver Dance and it can go through your whole team.
Yep.
What about you?
And go ahead.
Did he make Volcarona a Zmon?
I don't know. Let me see.
Because Z Volcarona with Quiver Dance just breaks everything.
Let's see, Temple.
He did. Yep. That is his all Z user.
Ooh, all Z.
All Z. I don't know what Z Quiver Dance does, but I'm sure it's busted.
I think it just resets your stats.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything.
Oh, well.
Gets Z Defog though.
Hey, looky there for the Hurricanes. That will then be less accurate in the sand. Right.
That's true. But Fire Blast.
Yeah.
If he wants to land those Fire Blasts, he can do Z Defog.
So essentially for the same reason that we talked about Pierre's team in the A Division video, the kind of the flip side of that is represented in the Jersey Fits' team. So he had Tornadus Therian, and he drafted a sand team. And that really was unfortunate for him because of the lower accuracy on Hurricanes, which is already just god-awful. That I think that's going to help out the Jersey Fits because he's got a quad weak to flying Mon.
True, Chestnut can eat that hit. Or, well, not eat, I mean, miss it.
Dodge. It'll be the fastest Chestnut in the world. Real agile.
I do like his spread of quad weaknesses throughout the team. Like, you have Mega T-Tar quad weak to fighting, you could always just go Volcarona for that 30% chance to burn if it's physical.
Yep.
Thundurus is right there, too, to eat that hit, or Mesprit.
And then he's got, I think, 4. He's got 4 different mons that are weak to water. He's got a very bulky grass and a water immunity in Gastrodon. So that also covers it relatively well with, what, 3 levitators? Like, there's so many. It's a very good team. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
All right, I think that's going to about wrap up the B Division division, the B division draft video. We will see you guys in the C division video.
Yep, we'll see you then. Thanks, guys.